Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, everybody. Hey, to the Floor is Yours podcast. Listen, it's Thursday night, so you know what's up. It's time for the Floor is Yours. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you spending a little time with us this evening. Hey, before we go another further, we ask you to call up all your friends, DM all your friends, text all your friends, tell them the Floor is Yours podcast is on, and it's about to blow up tonight. Tonight we're gonna have a serious talk. But before I tell you what we're talking about, you know I can't do this by myself. I got the other member of the G Unit with me tonight, my brother from another mother, the man himself, Lex, the producer. Gerard, tell the people hello.
Good evening, great people, and good evening to you, brother Gregory. Man, how you doing today, man?
Man, life is good. You know,
Yeah,
God is good. God is
yeah.
good. So I can't complain. Some days I'm in here swinging, like
Hey, you
like
know
I'm
what?
Tyson.
I missed that alley oop. You know, when you say God is good, I'm supposed to say all the time. I missed it.
It's
Next time.
I heard it. I heard it in the spirit.
Yeah, yeah,
I knew it was in your heart.
yeah,
I
man.
know it was there, man. Hey, glad to do another show with you today. Man, we about to talk about it. Listen, relationships require work. And sometimes relationships require an ending. And so today, the topic of conversation is: should I go or should I leave? That's a question that a lot of people have to ask themselves. Um, and it's oftentimes a difficult conversation. You and I, before we started the show, we said that every situation is unique. There's really no blueprint to this. It's really case specific to the relationship, what particular stressors are going on at the time. And so tonight we want to offer a little help to the people. But tonight we want to be clear about it. We're not telling people what to do. We're not telling people whether they should stay or whether they should go. But we are telling them, here are some things you want to consider before you make sure you stay in this committed relationship. Gerard, have you ever been faced with that question of should you stay or should you go?
Oh man, I think any of us that's been in a relationship with the highs and lows, the ups and downs, right? We hear it all the time that relationships are not perfect or no relationship is perfect. And it almost seems cliche, right? Until you get in it. And it's like, man, did I sign up for this? So to answer your questions in short, absolutely I felt and I grappled with that, for not just a short period, over years, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
even multiple relationships. So yeah, to your point, I like that you said we're not telling anyone what to do, but we're definitely going to give you some considerations because each situation is unique. You talk about the stressors, you talk about a point in a person's life, what they're able to deal with, their capacity,
Yeah.
what they got going on, their family,
Yeah.
and all the things. So, but also one quick plug to our listeners, our followers. We do this for them and with them, and we can't do it without them. So we see the comments and the hellos coming in. Keep them coming. You know the game. We're gonna get to them as much as we can. But as Gregory said earlier, follow, like, share, invite people to the discussion, and same time interact with each other in the audience too. So yeah, let's make this
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
Absolutely. We can't do this without our followers, man. It's all about them. And we love those comments. So please keep them
yeah,
coming. And, we talked about like many people have different, are in different seasons in their relationships, whether
yeah,
you're just dating, whether you're married, whether you're serious dating, are you living with them? Is it still just a courtship? All of these things, you have to consider, am I just getting to know them, or did I really give them enough time to show up? Maybe you've just been dating for a couple of months. Did I really actually give them a fair chance, right? And
yeah,
then you have to be honest with yourself. Well, I have given them 2 years of my life. Is that long enough for them to show up in a healthy way? And so all of these things factor in when people are deciding should they
yeah.
stay or should they leave.
No question.
And one of the questions I want to throw out there to the listeners is, what are some of the things that, for those who have decided to leave relationships, what are some of the things that made you want to leave that relationship? What was the deal breaker? What was the thing that you said, I'm out, I can't do this anymore? So tell us in the comments what those things are.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll get to it.
yeah.
You
That's
know, before, one of the things that we first have to ask ourselves, though, when we talk about this topic is, what are some of the reasons that people do stay in relationships for so
yeah,
long? There's a lot of considerations there, but a lot of people stay out of fear, comfort, history, and hope. Fear, comfort, history, and hope. They said, well, hey, better the devil that I know than the devil I don't know, right?
yeah.
And
Here
so
we
they, yeah, right. They get in this relationship,
Yeah.
And it's fear. Number one, it could be low self-esteem. Well, this is the
Yeah.
best I can do. Who's going to want me? You know, I've spoken to a lot of women, and one of the things that I've heard women say that really makes me sad is they don't think other men would see their value. I get that a lot from single moms. So
Yeah.
women, yeah, yeah, women that have been married before and maybe have children, they put this on themselves that they feel like they're used goods, right?
Yeah.
And that who wants to buy the used car? Everybody wants the new car. They don't want driven. But if it, and that could be further than the truth. A good woman is a good woman,
Yeah.
and a good man can see the value of that. So if you're divorced and even have children, trust me, a good man can still see your value.
Yeah.
Um, and there's hope. A lot of people are in relationships far too long because they hope things will change. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, he's going to change if I just keep on standing there, keep on supporting him. Well, he's, you know, 49 years old and still trying to be a rapper.
Hey, man. Yeah, that hey,
A little too close to home.
yeah, man. Hey, but you're right. Just to jump back to the first one. Well, let's just talk about the hope piece. You're right. Like, there's nothing just on the surface wrong with hope, right? We do want to hope and for a better tomorrow. But I know one thing that you used to always say, like your behaviors got to line up, right? I'm not here hoping, but my behaviors don't reflect the things that I'm trying to be or become or do, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do your patterns and do your habits reflect your intentions, right? And so, if you do want to be that rapper, I mean, are you writing every day? Are you in the studio? Are you networking? Like whatever your goals are you marching toward that? And what's the evidence? You know, better. It, a lot of people talk a good game, right? They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna go to barber school. I'm gonna get this certification. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third." But show me the receipts. Right. Where's the evidence? And
Yeah.
so and a lot of times people don't necessarily care about the quantum leaps. They don't care if you're making big strides, just as long as you're making small steps. If I can see some movement, if I can see some action being taken, then I can get behind that instead of somebody who's just sitting on their butt all day, just talking. Like, show me what you're doing. Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
like, hope is good, but I need evidence also. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be the only one believing in you.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
man. I like that. The evidence. Yeah. Show me.
And so a lot of people also did there's history. You know, we've been together for 10, 20, 30 years. And I always say this, you know, you just don't want to survive, but you want to thrive. And if you're in a relationship for whatever period of time and just feel like you're in survival mode, then you may want to consider, is this the right relationship for you? Because God's intention was never for you just to survive through life. His
Yeah.
intention was for you to thrive in life.
Yeah.
And
I
so
love
I can do bad all by myself is the saying that I heard when I was a youngin' back in the day.
Yeah, that history thing can be a drag on people. You know, it kind of ties in with familiarity. We got history. I'm used to you. There's a certain level of comfort, if you will. But yeah, that
Yeah,
history, it can, yeah, it can just unnecessarily drag you
yeah,
longer than you should.
yeah, absolutely. And so we don't want people to stay in relationships. I mean, listen, we're not asking people to leave relationships just because they require effort, but we're not asking you to stay in a bad relationship out of loyalty either.
Yeah,
Because good or bad, even with the best person, even if you're with your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever you want to call it, it's still going to require work. So we're not saying run from a relationship when it requires effort, but we are saying don't stay in a bad situation just out of loyalty. And a lot of people do that, especially the number one thing is when people have children together. I
yeah,
don't want to separate my child from their mom or from their dad. So it's
yeah,
better that I can stay here because I didn't grow up with my dad. So let me just stay here with him so at least my children can grow up
yeah.
with their dad. That's still not a good excuse to
Yeah,
say
and
this.
I think that's an important consideration because breaking up does not only affect the people in the relationship; it does
Yeah.
affect the kids, right? So now you're talking about how that can what that can mean for generations to come. So there's I follow this therapist. Her name is on social media. Her name is Dr. Ramani, and I reference her a lot on the podcast. But she gives people tools like when it's been decided that we're gonna move on, like how do you get your business in order? And she teaches people how to coexist in a healthiest manner possible while you're waiting for the kids to get older or to get out of school or to get your finances together or maybe religious reasons or financial situations, right? She teaches the people, teaches people how to coexist under the same roof and
Mm.
as healthy as a manner possible while you're trying to figure out how to make the next move.
Yeah, yeah, you do want to leave with grace.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, because
if
whenever,
possible.
if possible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, there's this scene in the movie at Fireproof, I think it's called. Back in the day, I saw it with Kirk Cameron. Great movie, and they give this analogy of if you glue two items together, let's just say pieces of wood, if you glue them together through a covenant, through a marriage, when you separate them, then you're going to damage both of them. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
But sometimes you work better if you're apart instead of trying to stay glued together. Now, ideally, marriages would stay together, but if you have to, we have to take in consideration there's going to be some type of pain. And so, like you were saying earlier, we got to work through that pain through therapy, through
Yeah.
coaching, so
I
that it
like
can.
that analogy, man. TD Jakes actually gave one similar, but he talked about it in the mindset of the flesh. So when the flesh becomes one, it's through marriage, and
Yeah.
you separate, it tears, and there's going to be some bleeding when you tear. So I like that analogy as well, how it compares to what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. It's
Yeah.
unavoidable, but sometimes necessary.
Yes.
And so here are the things when it could be necessary. Here are the things to consider as you decide, should I go or should I stay? Now everybody's got that cousin, that auntie, maybe mom whispering in your ear, talking about, hey, you should stay with him. He got a good job. Y'all been together for so long, or you guys are going to make it. But in the back of your mind, all of those people with goodwill don't know that internal struggle that you're going through, how painful it is to go through this day in and day out. And
Yeah.
so, here are some of the reasons why I think you should consider leaving. It is that repeated disrespect or loss of trust. And so, a lot of times, people will ask, what's the most important thing in a relationship? The number one thing that people will say is communication. I don't think communication is number one. If you're asking me, I think it's trust. And if you lose trust, then no matter how great of a communicator you are, it's still going to land on a deaf's ear. And so, one of the reasons you should consider leaving if there's repeated disrespect or the lack of trust. And when I say disrespect, it means like you're belittled, your feelings and emotions are not taken in consideration when this person's making their decisions, and if you don't trust them, like, it's one thing if they made one fumble but they got over, but if you see a pattern of behavior that you can't not stand beside, then it's time to go.
Yeah, I
And that's
like
another
you said pattern, right? You talked about patterns in the
pattern,
last
huge.
podcast too. Like it's not just one off, but pattern really speaks to that person's character, who they are, and not
Yeah.
just a bad moment or mismanaging the situation. A pattern really speaks to who that person is at their core.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I think that's one of the key things that we to take in consideration, because you don't marry the person, you marry their patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not just marrying the good looks, the body, the muscles, the hips, the lips, the thighs, whatever it may be. You're marrying their patterns, and those are the things that you definitely want to consider.
yeah,
Um, the second thing, and this goes without saying, of course, emotional, physical, or mental abuse. Any abuse of any kind is definitely. I know we're not trying to tell people what to do, but when it comes to abuse, I think that's a clear sign that you should
yeah,
leave. No type of abuse is acceptable, or financial abuse. Some people
yeah,
are in relationships where they are financially abused.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
yeah,
Financially, emotional, verbal, right?
mm,
Any of those that you're talking about. The word you used earlier was disrespect or lack of respect. Those are key indicators that they do not respect you, and it's actually it's dishonor. It's just a plethora of ways that you can describe that. But yeah, when they begin to show out, the lack of respect begins to show in
yeah,
in those things, the financial abuse, the verbal abuse, especially the physical abuse. And it's crazy, Greg, because we sometimes we normalize those things, and I've heard people say, We talked about this excuse to say like, you don't need to worry when I'm arguing. You need to worry when I stop arguing. I'm just like, why am I faced with those two choices? Either you need to argue or not argue. Like there's a plethora of things in between, but your physical or your verbal abuse is not a sign of love, in
It's
my
not.
honest opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. And those are two bad choices. Either we're
Yeah,
fighting or you're silent. You
yeah,
know, if people tend to think with relationships you only have two choices. Either you stay or you leave. You stay in a bad marriage or you leave a bad marriage. Well, the truth is there's another option, that is you fix a bad marriage. And so that's also an option as well. One of the things that I want to point out about abuse that a lot of people kind of or try to avoid or don't speak enough about, I think, is um, empathy and neglect is also emotional abuse.
of course.
So you
Yeah,
find a lot of people, find especially women who are in relationships where the partner or the husband just doesn't care. He's not verbally abusive. He's not physically abusive. He's present, but he's not engaged, right? He doesn't
yeah,
support. He doesn't encourage. That's also emotional abuse because we're in relationships so that we can grow, so that we can be nurtured, so we can be loved on, so we can be encouraged and supported. And if
yeah,
anybody's depriving you of that, that's emotional abuse
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and sometimes it shows up in complacency, right? What you're
Mhm.
talking about, where we can, I think about, and not to get too biblical about it, but in the story of Adam, you know, when he asked Adam, like, "Where are you?" And God asked Adam for a reason, like, here it is, Eve is out, doing what she did, with the tree, and he asked, like, "Where are you?" And it's just a snapshot into what complacency looked like at that moment. Even so much so that he didn't take responsibility, right? And like people that are complacent lack accountability and responsibility. He even said this, that woman you gave me.
Mhm,
Like, blame
mhm.
God for that right there. So yeah, the complacency. I know sometimes people can confuse it or conflate it with being content, which is, I think, it's totally different. But that complacency, and if you don't mind talking about it a little bit, like the dangers of that and what it can look like in certain scenarios, but just being complacent. I think it's easy to fall in. It's like, you know what, I get to settle in. I got a family, I got a house, I got a job, and I'm good. I think the one thing that I find an issue with it is that you end up making yourself replaceable or irrelevant in situations. The world is changing. Your kids are growing. Your spouse is changing and going through things. And I just get myself complacent where I don't make myself relevant and um, able to address whatever the current concerns is. And you end up trying to address new issues with old information, old tools, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it does. No, completely.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you are emotionally negligent, then you're stunting the growth of that relationship.
yeah,
And you're starving the other person. I mean, there's no difference in, hey, look, there's a kitchen full of food, but for whatever reason, your spouse is unable to make it to the kitchen. You have the capacity to feed them, you have the capacity to nourish them, but you are not doing it. That emotional negligence stunts the growth and the health of the relationship. You're just thinking, hey, I'm just born that way. I'm just stubborn. I got it from my dad. I got it from my mom. Or I'm gonna prove to them that I don't need them. I can show my own autonomy over here while in a relationship. Well, when you're in a relationship, there is no autonomy anymore. Everything that you do directly impacts the person
yeah,
that you're in a relationship with. You're no longer one. You're no longer one. You're two. Everything you do affects your partner. And so
absolutely.
that emotional negligence that you have is literally starving them spiritually and emotionally so that they are not maximizing their potential. Because now, when you're one, you're responsible to a certain degree that person's emotional health as well.
Yeah,
To the capacity that you can to keep them happy, to keep them focused, to keep them inspired, to as much as you can do. And if
yeah,
you're not doing that, then you are being you're being abusive in a negligent kind of way just by not showing up.
yeah. Hey, let's jump on some of these comments, man. They're
Sure.
coming in. Got a few good ones, but I always like sharing the hellos. Christine, appreciate you tuning in, and one of our favorites, Dr. Jennings.
Hey, Dr.
Uh, yeah, our boy Corey is on there checking in with us. Hey, my good cousin Doris is saying hello, and Shalonda Goodwater, Army Buddy, and oh Mia, man. She says good evening, and my cousin Sharon said hello. So let's go to some of the comments. So you asked earlier for people to share, some of their experiences. So Dr. Jensen
Yeah.
said very personal, but no intimacy after years of it. Played seriously on my mental state, so I had to walk away from me. And you're right, just that lack of intimacy, and not just sexual, right? But tending to to your partner and all that lack of intimacy. I can absolutely agree with her on that. Like that's
Yes.
caused great concern.
Yeah. I mean, it's what divides a friendship from a relationship, right? Because we can all have friends that we can nurture and inspire and support and stick beside. But the real big indicator of a relationship versus a friendship is that level of intimacy.
Yeah,
I get to know you behind closed doors. I get to know your vulnerabilities. I get to know your weaknesses, and then I'm responsible for protecting you and covering you with
yeah,
that. And so,
yeah.
why are we together if we're not going to that next level of intimacy? Again, not just sexual, but to see me differently than everybody else does.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the highest levels of neglect, to be under the roof or in a relationship with someone and not interact with them and, being intimate. Like, yeah, I just can't even imagine that
It's
right now.
disrespectful. It's
Oh,
disrespectful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You make in a relationship and you so that y'all can interact with each other and to,
I would doubt if someone doesn't want to be intimate with you, and this is just me, I have no studies, no research to support this, but I would doubt if someone doesn't want to be intimate with you, do they truly care for you?
yeah.
Yeah. I
Something
would
about
doubt the
in the
sincerity
way
of.
that you deserve, because sometimes people lack capacity, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean, there are medical conditions,
yeah,
yes, and there are people are different on the scale of their intimacy and their sexuality. There's a
yeah.
spectrum there. But if they're not showing up to the best of their capacity, it makes me
Yeah.
wonder.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's go with this one. Well, it's gonna be long. You can't see the whole comment, can you? I'll read it if you can't.
I can't see.
Man. Okay, Christine says, "I like to take a moment to give a brief story. I was that friend who connected my friend to her husband. He had no children. She did. He embraced not only her but her children and accepted them as a package deal. When they got married, the children called him dad, and he developed a strong bond with them, which started in the dating process, and he embraced them as his own. I've seen this happen with my friend who was a single mom. When a man wants the woman, he will embrace her with flaws and all. He will move mountains for her. He will show through actions. And you talked about earlier about we were talking about the kids right there. And you're right, the kids can be challenging to say the least. But I think you take all that into account, and I'm looking at it on the opposite end of this. Imagine that somebody's with you and they're not involved with your children at all.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah,
Couldn't be me. No,
talk
no.
about it.
No, listen. I really think a man can't love a woman and not love her children, because the children are an extension of her. Is it, it's going to require extra effort? Yes. Is it going to require extra investment? Yes. But if being with that woman is the goal, then you're going to make yourself available for the children too, because the love you have for her is just imputed onto the children naturally. That's going to happen. And if you're struggling with loving the children, I'm not trying to say showing up as the picture perfect dad. Maybe you're fumbling with that aspect of how do I show up? How do I fit in with nurturing and discipline and all that kind of stuff? Those are things that you have to work out along the way. But if you're saying to yourself, there's no way I can have a connection with these children, leave that woman alone. Walk away,
Yeah.
because that is an unbreakable bond. If you love the woman, you got to love her children as well.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
If the man have children, same thing with a woman.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. There have been women that I have passed by because they didn't accept that I have two daughters. So
yeah, yeah. Good deal.
I
Good deal.
can't happen. Just
Hey,
can't happen.
Nicole said just stepped in and didn't hear the beginning, but she said she's gone. Should she leave or should she stay? She said she's out of there, man. And appreciate you, Jocelyn, for making the show as well. But one of the notes that I pulled up when I was doing some research, it talked about if the relationship is costing you more than it's growing you, if being with them consistently drains your peace, your confidence, your emotional stability, and sense of self. So I want to talk about those four things right there. If it's costing your peace, sometimes we got this false sense of peace, and some people
Yeah.
conflate peace with, hey, we don't argue, you don't make me mad, I don't make you mad, and if I am, just stay away from me, kind of thing. I don't think that's true peace. Um, Peace is how I perform in the face of conflict, right? Am I able to, even when it's not going my way, not the best way, but I'm still, at peace in my heart, right? So I'm thinking about it. If for you, Gregory, if it's costing your peace, um, without just, going all the way to the left and calling it quits. I mean, what advice would you give us to work on that piece?
Yeah, get used to being uncomfortable. You gotta practice having those tough conversations. You gotta practice gritting your teeth and just taking that chin check. Yeah, I don't like your cooking. Yeah, you snore and you get on my. Yeah, you don't help clean up. And you have to be able to endure the criticisms, the critiques, and the ugly part of a relationship. And that's not to be afraid of, because it's in the challenges that the cleaving experience actually happens. Cleaving doesn't just happen during the good times, not on vacations and not on holidays and stuff like that. But cleaving is when we've climbed mountains together, we've weathered storms together. That's what really builds couples. And I think couples are really missing out when they try to avoid issues, the faith, the family, the
Yeah,
finance topics, political questions. You really are missing out on connecting and bonding with your person, because you're avoiding the thing that's really going to test how strong this relationship really is. So my advice to you is look at that problem head on, state your truth, and then offer a resolve of how we can blend it together.
yeah,
How can we meet in the middle, right?
yeah,
Because the goal
yeah.
isn't for me to be right, the goal is for us to win.
Yeah, and always remembering when you're going through these challenges that you love each other, or at least you should, right? And if you don't, then that's a whole nother story. But I think if people are always, sometimes you have to remind partners. I've been there. Like I had to remind the person I was in a relationship with, like, hey, we're on the same team. Like, how could you even think such a thing? So obviously, that was
Right.
a
Yeah.
misunderstanding. So make that at the core of your thinking, so
Thousand
we
percent.
can get past that. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right. We got to normalize saying, I'm disappointed, but I still love you.
But I
I'm
still love
angry, but I still love you.
you. Yeah.
Stay in your truth, but saying, I still love you. Like, we can get past this. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, but I still love you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
another one they talked about, if it consistently drains your confidence, and I think a lot of times we see that from the women, right? Or we attribute that to women, but that could be draining for men too, right? When a man loses his confidence and
Yeah.
whatnot. So we want to take a moment and talk about how important confidence is in these situations.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, it's funny. Dr. Jennings just mentioned intimacy. That it's been proven that the number one confidence booster for men is when he's intimate with the woman he loves.
Mhm.
He's intimate with the woman he loves.
Yeah,
So when men don't feel a connection with the woman that he loves, i.e., the woman he's married or in a relationship with, he feels less than, because he wants to feel like, hey, if I know that I'm a king and I'm winning in this area, then it's nothing for me to go win in the workplace. I can go shoot some hoop with my boys, and then I know I'm a scorer. And whatever it may be,
yeah,
I can fix things around the house because my lady makes me feel like a king. That's a big confidence booster. And
yeah,
so when there's that distance and when there's that gap and that chasm between a man and the woman that he's aligned with, um, that confidence is just not present. And so you have to understand, for women, understand, when you see that confidence going down, you may need to give him a little extra hugs and kisses, and that
yeah,
generally helps out a lot.
yeah.
But other than that, also we got to look at his health and the finances. So health and finances are other areas too that men can lack confidence, that women can come up and support and say, hey, we're going to get through this health situation together. Or maybe it's just a rough patch with finances. That doesn't make you less than a man. We can bounce back from that. We just need to get a plan in place and we can bounce back and let them know that, be it health issues or financial issues, this is not an indicator of your value. This is just a season we in. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I like that you brought those other two things up. And so ways that she can chip away at a man's confidence is sometimes women think I'm holding you accountable or building you up or showing that tough love and that constant what we coin nagging, not to sound sexist or anything, but just talking about that could chip away at a guy's confidence because now he's wondering like, does she even care about me?
Yeah.
It's that bad. Like you spend more time bashing me. You don't encourage me. You don't lift me up. You don't praise me. And that thing called validation, right, is important. Now, not saying that she has to always validate him at every moment, but I think it's important that he knows that that she cares about him and she values him.
Yeah. And heaven forbid she compares him to another man. Why can't we go out on vacations like Gerard takes his girlfriend on vacations? Why can't we do this? Like, it's like, no. Let's don't do the compare game. Let's don't do it.
They say comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And another one is the emotional stability. If it's costing you and draining your emotional stability, that's another thing. I know sometimes I've heard stories of women pushing men intentionally to try to see if they can get them off tilt, right? And then after they get you there, now I look at you, you lost your cool, So it's important. Again, the man is responsible for how he responds. But if she's chipping away at that and trying to trigger you, that's I think that's reason to leave. Me personally.
The Bible says,
what is
better to live on a corner of a roof than in a house with a nagging wife. And so that constant dripping that we have, or we call it nagging from a woman, listen, you can push a bunny rabbit too far, and it's eventually going to strike that, right? I don't understand what the reason is, and ladies that are listening, let me know why do some women choose to test the chest of men? Why are some men provoked to the point of you want to initiate a sort of response from him? Because that does come up a number of times in my coaching where women will admit, I just want to see if I can get a reaction out of them. Like, what is the purpose behind that?
Yeah.
We don't really want to see that. And so those type of behaviors is toxic, and vice versa. You should never want to press your partner to a point to where you're forcing them to act out of character. If you're going to love me, you have to love me the way that I am. And if I'm not the way that you want me to be, then maybe I'm not the way the person you should be with.
And I know and in the example you used, testing their toughness or whatever, but sometimes they test his competence, right? As if he knows nothing, he's always messing up, he can't get it right. And then sometimes it comes with comparison as well, right? My dad did me like this and treated me this way, and you can't stand up to my dad, right? So now that's another one too, when you're testing his competence.
That's toxic behavior. Why do we even want to be in a relationship with someone like that? Here's a good signal that maybe you want to consider leaving, is that when you look yourself in the mirror and you can't say that you're not portraying yourself, then you should maybe want to leave, because you know that you're in the right position in life, be it in purpose or be it wherever path you're on, when you can look at yourself and know that you're not betraying yourself. And if you constantly have to shrink and not be who you are to be in this relationship, you are betraying yourself, and it's probably not the place you should be in.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. So there's some other comments coming in. I want people to keep them coming. We're gonna get to them, but Gergie, let's go to a commercial. Come back from the commercial, jump back on these comments, and then we'll go to the next topic.
That's good.
Real men talk. If I had a group of brothers that I could confide in, a group of brothers that encourage me to be the best man possible, that hold me accountable for actions, but brothers that won't beat me down when I fall short. If I had brothers like that in my life, I'd open up more about my challenges. I wouldn't be afraid of being vulnerable and transparent. I'd be more deliberate in my actions and not scared of failure. I wouldn't act like everything is okay when I'm hurting inside. Sometimes it seems like there's an all-out assault from the world on black men, and hurtful words from my lady cut deep. I can't show my pain, 'cause if she knew that she hurt me, she would do it over and over again, hoping that each time cut deeper than the last. I do understand that women have challenges too. That's why I work so hard to be the strength she needs. But I need a band of brothers who understand that sometimes I simply want them to listen. Sometimes I need advice, but other times I need a shoulder to lean on. I need a band of brothers that create a safe space that gives us all a chance to talk about our fears. Because it's therapeutic when real men talk. Real men talk. Real men talk.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. And we're talking about should I leave or should I stay? And Gregory is always dropping them gems, and the comments are on fire as usual too. So let's get to a couple more of these comments, and then we'll let you go to the next topic right here. Got another good friend, Amanda. She's tuning in. Appreciate you, Amanda. Yeah. Christine said it's the same for a single woman who meets a man with children. She has to be willing to accept his children and love them. And we said that too. Yeah, that goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you take this one right here. I think you can read the whole comment, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize how much like meant more than love in a relationship. Okay. I can still love and walk away from someone who I now realize we no longer liked each other, but how we started to treat each other. You have to like the person that you're in a relationship in. That's a great perspective, Dr. Jennings. There are some days where the love isn't going to feel as passionate or on fire as others. But if you like the person, meaning you have a certain admiration for maybe like their skill set or their the qualities, the values that they have, the friendship that you develop, that sometimes can help bridge that gap when the passion levels aren't high or when there is frustration. I can admire you, I can trust you, I can count on you, I can depend on you. Those likable qualities that you have tend to be the reinforcements that you need in a relationship. But if I'm mad at you and I realize that I don't even like you, then there's something you need to think about there. Is this the best place for me to be? One key thing to remember also is that a person can remain in your heart, but not remain in your life. And so just because you are ending this relationship doesn't mean that the feelings are going to disappear, nor should they disappear. This person maybe brought you some great times and some great memories. It's okay to say what we had was once special, but now I'm starting a different chapter. So great comment, Dr.
I ain't saying none of that, but hey, I get your point. Hey, I'll let you take this one too from Jocelyn. Appreciate the comment, Jocelyn.
Hey, Jocelyn. How much time should we put into helping a man gain his confidence back? Example, the female is excelling in her job, community involvement, and family, but the man has become stagnant. The length of time that you should give is when you feel like it's impacting your growth. So if there is a real love and a real belief that he can bounce back or he's making strides to coming back, and it's not holding you down or holding you back from growing, then I would say stay in it. But if you feel like the effort and the time that it's taking you to pour into him is weighing you down, you feel yourself stressed or overwhelmed, then you've given him enough time. But then also, is he a self-motivator? Like, is he getting all of his motivation from you? Is he not himself and has the instinct to go out and to find his joy, to find his happiness, and pick himself up? If you don't see some initiative in himself, then it may be time to leave.
Yeah. And even before you get in those relationships, I think you need to identify that, right? If you're a driven woman and, you're a go-getter and you're out, doing your thing, whether it's, and I'll give an example. I know someone was good military, but she's hard and heavy in the real estate and financial literacy and helping people in the community. and she was with somebody that was like, hey, I just want to come home at the end of the day and watch sports and play the game. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that with him. I just think,
But they're not a good match.
they're not. Yeah. So yeah. So just, think about that. Unless you want somebody that's more so, but if you're looking for somebody to match your energy, you got to identify those things right there. You can't have conflict and passions and think you're going to have a successful relationship.
We don't talk enough about you want to find a partner that matches your speed of life, and that example you gave, they definitely have two speeds of life that they're doing.
Yeah. Let you take this one right here too from Mia.
Sure. What's up, Mia? Or if he's downplaying her because of the position she holds in her career, it can go both ways. If he's looking down on him, or if he's looking down on her, when both need to be supportive one of another. Yeah, definitely. We don't believe in any disrespect in any way. Downplaying as in mistreating one another because of career status. Your partner should be your number one fan. If your man's not your number one fan, find you another man. If your woman's not your number one woman, not your number one fan, find you another woman. Your partner should be your number one fan.
Yeah, that's good. And we're talking about, should I leave or should I not, or should I stay? Just thinking about that comment from Mia right there. Sometimes you get in relationships and there's genuine, true jealousy and envy of the other person's success. And you're talking about, you got to get that fixed quick, or not. I mean, I just see no good coming out of that right there.
Yeah, and then you got to ask: is that person using you as a scapegoat for not achieving? Are they trying to let themselves off the hook because you're so good? Like, well, I wish I had it like you. I wish I could just get a promotion. I wish I made all that money and all that. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And she's saying solid facts. Appreciate that. So, what else you got, brother?
So here are the things you need to ask yourself when you're in this in these relationships. Or should I stay or should I go? Ask yourself, am I shrinking in this relationship? We spoke about that a little bit earlier about, are you betraying yourself? Are you able to show up in your fullest and best self? If you're not, it could be something you want to consider leaving. Also ask yourself, do I feel emotionally and spiritually safe in this relationship? Because if you can't trust a person to hold your heart, then maybe they shouldn't hold a spot in your life.
Yeah.
Here's one. Can we communicate honestly without fear? Now, that's a big deal. Oftentimes, we're walking on eggshells with our partner because if I tell her the truth, then I'm going to hurt her feelings and she's going to start crying. So why don't I just keep it to myself? Or if I tell him how I really feel, that he's going to blow up and it's going to be a fight. Can we communicate without fear? Are we able to communicate like strong, healthy adults, even when it's unpleasant or uncomfortable, and know that neither one of us are going to face all of these extreme consequences? There may be some uncomfortableness, but it shouldn't necessarily be consequences because I told my truth.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's important. I think a lot of that can tie to self-aware. Like, if you know the person, like, am I triggered because someone tells me something about me, something that I did, and I think that's some people carry us the spirit of offense, right? Where they can't take critique from anybody on much of anything, or they're in a, facing other people, they're easily triggered. I think those type of people are, it's challenging to have a healthy relationship with those type of people, because it's going to be, like you say, walking on eggshells, afraid to say anything, and then you're going to end up shrinking, like you said, just for the sake of peace, a false peace, of course. Let me be quiet.
Right. It's a lack of maturity, because you can't grow unless you can accept criticism.
Yeah.
You're not going to grow. Are we solving problems together or fighting each other? And this is one of the basic rules of relationship is you're not fighting each other. Like you said earlier, you are on the same team. So we're fighting the problem. We're not fighting each other. And so if you don't have that as your outlook or perspective when an issue comes on, then that may not be the best relationship for you, because we want to tackle these. We want to attack the financial issues, not each other. We want to tackle the health issues or the parenting issues, the family issues, but not each other. It shouldn't be a blame game. We're gonna sit down, look at the truth, look at the issue, and see how we both can contribute to a solution to this problem without attacking each other.
Yeah, that's good, man. I just want to take a moment to plug your profession because sometimes people are having these type issues and they don't know how to get out of them or address them in a meaningful and a healthy way. So they do naturally say, you don't know how to manage finances, or you're not doing this correctly, or, you always, those type words, you always do this, or you never that.
Mhm.
So how important is it to know your capacity in those instances? Like, how you feel is true, but how you express it can like totally damage and kill the relationship. So bringing in a outsider or someone that has neutral or true interest in seeing y'all succeed, like they need to be maybe brought in to help with that situation.
Yeah, yeah, that I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes we need someone who is neutral so that we don't easily get offended. So a third party who's not invested can say, your language does sound a little rough here. Can you say that in a different way? Or how about we word it this way? Or we ask the question, I hear what you're fighting about, but tell me what you are fighting for. It's all about framing, right? And all about because our partner's hearing the same song pretty much every day. They hear the voices every day, they hear the same complaints every day. So when you hear someone else reframe it differently, sometimes with a softer touch, or sometimes
Yeah,
even with greater clarity,
yeah,
it gives you a different perspective where you don't feel as defensive
yeah,
because here's someone who's put it in a way that is unbiased and they don't have a dog in this race. So they're just like, okay, we're just talking the facts here. I'm not
yeah,
against you. I'm not for you. I'm really neutral. But here's what you guys have to deal
yeah.
with here.
Yeah, and that's super important when someone may be good at a certain thing, right? Or better than the other person at another thing, and the other person may not, maybe fumbling it, whatnot. The worst thing they can do is start to belittle them,
Yeah.
because they could be, doing it wrong. But guess what you just did? You made them afraid to even try now,
Yeah.
or to be open
Yeah.
and honest and share with you, or tell you like, hey, I don't understand this. Maybe you could, do something. So sometimes people can be antagonistic towards it and make the other person not even want to open up and share
Yeah.
their
And it's
struggling.
easy to do that, Sharad, because if you've been in a relationship for 7 years, you're thinking to yourself, I done told you this 1,000 times and you still ain't got
Yeah,
it. So it's easy to fall into that trap. And that's when you come to someone like me and who is hearing the situation for the first time and is able to present it in a different way that's softer, kinder, or, just more neutral.
yeah,
So that helps out a lot when you go and you seek help.
yeah, that's good. That's
Here, here's a big question though. I like to ask couples who are debating should I stay or should I go, and that question is: if nothing changed, would you be happy in this relationship for 5 years? If nothing changed, say 5 years from now, and you're still with the same person with the same patterns and the same behavior, would you still want to be here?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's a powerful question. And
Yeah,
if the answer is on the inside when you're thinking, then no, then we got some work to do. Either we're working to leave or we're working to stay. But there
yeah,
is work to be done
yeah,
because staying is going to require effort, leaving is going to require courage, but they both require wisdom. So no
yeah,
matter what you do, it's going to require some effort on your part.
yeah,
Staying requires work, leaving requires courage, but they both require wisdom. So you're going to need some guidance
yeah.
in whatever choice you make.
That's good. And not, I just don't want that what you said to get lost. When you're with somebody, are you okay with who they are? Not just today and tomorrow or next month. Like if they're this person for the rest of their lives, right?
Mhm.
Are you okay
They
with that?
never change.
They
Yeah,
never change. Yeah. And
yeah,
that's not just in the middle, but I think that's important to recognize in the beginning before you make that next level of commitment.
yeah, yeah. And so here, I'm going to break some hearts right now. So I'm going to say something that is a hard truth for a lot of people to accept or to recognize because you're so emotionally invested in these relationships, and especially in marriage, and especially when there's kids involved. But here's the truth: some relationships are just assignments. They're not to be happily ever after. Some
Mm,
relationships are preparation. They're just getting you to the next stage in life. And some relationships are partnerships. And so we have to be honest with ourselves and answer the question, is this an assignment? Is this preparation? Or is this actually a partnership that I should stay
Yeah.
in? As an assignment means I'm here to help you do something. I'm here to help you with something. Preparation is you're here to teach me something.
Yeah.
Partnership is we are here to do something together. And a lot of times people are in these relationships, they've gotten married and they have children together, but that was an assignment. That wasn't a partnership.
Yeah.
That was meant to, you're supposed to help them do something, or they're supposed to help, or it could be preparation. That marriage maybe wasn't meant to be together. And I know I'm messing up a lot of biblical people here.
Hey, good. I was about to get you on there too. That's funny.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
said.
But it could just be preparation to what really truly is your happily ever after.
Yeah.
Not every relationship is meant to last forever, but every relationship is meant to teach you something.
Yeah, yeah. You get in there, and we're imperfect people in perfect world. You're gonna meet people, and you're gonna attempt to go at it, and then you're gonna find out some things that you wish you had known before, and find out later that they're deal breakers. To that point, yeah, you're not telling everybody just to go out and seek these situationships. But should you find yourself in one of those, I think it's important to recognize, what is it, if it's that. But hey, before we get out of here, I think we've been talking about a lot of deal breakers, but I think one thing to consider that we should think about if we're going to stay together is this right here. If both people are willing to learn, then there's hope. You want to take a minute and talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. So, as a life coach who helps people with relationships, yeah, I have people who come to me and they will give me this long list, Gerard, of the things they don't like about their partner. He snores or she nags, or he's messy. Well, she's this and he's that, and all that kind of thing. But at the end of all their complaints, I'm gonna tell you how I know this couple is gonna make it. Because one or both of them will say, I still want to be with her. I still want to be with him. And they're here with all of these complaints. It is rounded off 10, 15, 20 complaints. But at the end of that complaint list, they say, but I just don't want to be without him. I don't want to be without her. That's really the secret sauce of someone saying, I understand all of these blemishes and faults about you, but I still want to find a way to make it work. And if both people are willing to learn, both people are willing to do the work, I really believe that anything is overcomable. I believe infidelity is something that we can overcome. I believe that betrayal is something that we can overcome. Whatever it is, with few exceptions, I believe that mostly anything in a marriage we're able to overcome if both people are willing to do the work.
Yeah.
And so that's how you know when it's time to stay, because your partner said, it ain't gonna be pretty, it ain't gonna be easy, but I'm willing to do the work because I want to be with you.
Man,
There's hope.
the old saying goes, it takes two, right?
Takes two to tango.
Yeah, yeah. Or in the church, we say take three.
Oh,
Him,
yeah.
her, and that dance instructor, right? Hey, so man, that was almost our parting thoughts. So the comments was good, your pointers and insight was good, but do you have some takeaways of parting thoughts, final words for people to take back with them?
Yeah, listen, relationships are going to be hard, but they're hard for a reason. They're hard because they're intended to make you grow. Be with someone who you can build with. You should be with someone who you feel like you're better with them, and that life is just is growing at a faster rate because you're with them. If you feel like this relationship is weighing you down, then you may want to consider, is this the right relationship for you? But don't leave a relationship just because it requires effort. But don't stay in a bad situation just for loyalty either. Be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, are you betraying yourself? And if you are, you may want to consider if this is the right relationship for you. That's all I got.
That's all, yeah, that's enough, man. You always leave us with some good wisdom, man. I appreciate it. But a lot of people, Gregory, don't know that you're an author. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wrote a book. Yeah.
I'm pulling this up so you can talk about it. We was talking about during the segment emotional maturity, and I'm pulling the book up so you can have a moment to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote a book a few years ago called Emotional Intelligence for Men. It's a good read, just not only for men but also for women. And a lot of the principles in the book it's not gender based, so women you can get something out of it as well, and you kind of understand what the motivators and triggers are for men when it comes to emotional intelligence. But the deal is this: emotional intelligence is just the way that we understand ourselves and understand our emotions, how we communicate those emotions. And by reading this book, it was my goal to help men become better leaders, better fathers, better husbands, and better involved citizens. And so, with this book, you'll find principles, you'll find scenarios, you'll find the situations that maybe lead men to maybe want to hide, then or have men to kind of to explode. And so this is a good read for anybody. I recommend it. And like I said, women, you can read this too, kind of help understand why your man is showing up the way that he's showing up, why he may be emotionally closed, why he may be emotionally stunted. And I think it'd be a benefit, not just to the men, but also the women in their lives. So check it out. You can go on Amazon, type in Gregory McKinney book, and then you will find Emotional Intelligence for Men there. I think everyone that's read it has said they benefited from it, so check it out.
Yeah, it's one of the best reads I've had, and it's easy read either too. So that's one thing I really like. Yeah. So this was good. Another thing, it's February. Sometimes we make jokes that they gave us the shortest month, but hey, I'll take it. It's Black History Month. So to all my brethren and sisters out there, happy Black History Month. We've said this before. We're in some trying times right now. This without getting too political, I'll just remind folks that we have taken a lot that we have gained for granted, and here we are now. A lot of our history has been taken away, intentionally been hidden from us, and it's for a purpose. It's for a reason. And I just want we talked earlier about being relevant in the relationship, not going off of old information. Stay in the know, understand current events. I'm not saying get in them so much that you're stressed out and that's all you take in, but this is a opportunity where the majority of this country, even though we're not getting the support that we used to, but they are stopping and recognizing Black excellence, Black history, and using that to spur us forward. So I would just encourage people to learn something that you didn't know. Something that you know, get involved, and happy Black History Month to everybody.
Well, speaking of something that we didn't know, a lot of people do ask the question, why do we have the shortest month of the year? So as many of our listeners, because we have very intelligent followers, probably know that it was founded by Carter G. Woodson, and it was originally Negro History Week. And so Carter G. Woodson, who's a Black man, decided February because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And so that's why February was chosen, because of those two great gentlemen. And then later, I forget how much time it took. I think it was in the 1940s. So not very long ago. It was in the 1940s. It was changed to Black History Month.
Oh wow! So it's not because it was the shortest month.
No, it was.
Dang. All right, so we lost Gregory, but it's all right because we're at the end of the show. So everybody, you know the name of the game. It's the Floor Is Yours podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, and here we go, got him back, man. I was about to take over and close us out, but you back. I'll let you do it.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. We love you. We thank you. We feel blessed that you decided to spend some time with us today, because we know the most valuable resource that any of us have is our time. So we hope that we bless you. This is the Floor Is Yours podcast, and it is exactly that. This is your podcast. So we want you to pull up a seat, kick off your shoes every week, and just feel welcome like you at home. Send us some comments, keep chipping away at us and letting us know what it is you want us to talk about. We love your feedback. We don't take any of it for granted. Week after week is our favorite part, is reading what you guys have to say. So thank you so much for watching. We love you for it.
Hey, and so Super Bowl Super Bowl is Sunday. So y'all be safe out there. Eat a bunch of wings, and I know everybody's upset that the Cowboys not playing, but still
next year's our year. Next year's our year.
Next year's our year, man. That's right. It's our year.
So until next time, people. Peace, love, air grease. We out.
This one here really do it for you.